You're standing in church. The worship team is playing. The people around you are entering in. Hands raised, eyes closed. Something is happening in that room, but you can feel it, but you can't get into it. And you're standing there with your hands at your side, feeling absolutely nothing. Not resistant, not angry at God, just hollow. Like someone turned the volume down on your own spiritual life and you can't find the dial. And so you do what you always do. You try harder. You close your eyes. You mouth the words. You tell yourself the feelings will come if you just press through. They don't come. You go home. You open your Bible. The words sit flat. You pray. It feels like talking into a ceiling. The quiet no one else hears. You wonder if something is broken in you, if God is reaching everyone else in the room and somehow not quite reaching you anymore. I'm going to tell you something today. Your doctor never told you this. Your pastor never told you this. Every postpartum resource you have ever found never once said it out loud. That feeling, that emptiness in the worship room is not a spiritual problem. It is a physical one. And it has a very specific name. And there is a specific reason it started after your baby. So stay with me. Let me try to describe something, and I want you to tell me how close this is. You remember a version of yourself that could feel things, not perfectly, not without struggle, but she could sit in the quiet and actually receive it. She could open her Bible and feel the words land somewhere inside her chest, not just behind her eyes. She could worship and mean it, not every single time, but enough that it felt like a real conversation with a real God who was actually present with her. And then you had babies. And slowly, not all at once, not with one dramatic moment, that access got harder. The quiet started feeling empty instead of full. The worship started feeling like effort instead of overflow. The prayer started feeling like words leaving your mouth and dissolving somewhere before they arrived. And you did what a faithful woman does. You tried harder. You got up earlier. You added a Bible study. You went to therapy. You took your prenatals. You prayed for more faith. You repented for the days you skipped your quiet time. You told yourself that this was just a season and that the feelings would come back. But here's the thing nobody names about this experience. And I want you to hear this because I have never once heard anyone say it out loud. The hardest part is the shame that lives underneath it. The specific private shame of a woman who loves God and cannot feel Him, who reads Philippians 4 verse 7, the peace that passes understanding, and knows it is true and cannot locate it anywhere in her body, who has memorized the promises and still wakes up at 3 in the morning with her heart pounding and the feeling she cannot name sitting on her chest. That shame is quiet and it is heavy, and it will convince you that the problem is your faith, that if you were more disciplined, more surrendered, more spiritually mature, that the feeling would come back. And so you carry both the depletion and the shame of the depletion. And neither one of them gets addressed because you are treating a physical problem with a spiritual diagnosis. Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I used to read that as a moral instruction, and now I read it as a description of biology because everything does flow from it. Your presence, your patience, your capacity to feel anything at all. And when the physical foundation underneath that heart has been depleted, when something specific was taken and never once restored, guarding it is not enough. You have to give back what was taken first. And before I go further, if you want the very first step you can take today, comment restore below and I will send you my free 3 p.m. crash code guide straight to your DM right now. It is one page, it is completely free, and it is something your body will actually feel. So comment restore and I will get that to you. I want to tell you the specific moment I realized my faith problem was not actually a faith problem. My second baby was about 4 months old, and it was a Sunday. We had gotten ourselves to church, which felt like a physical accomplishment at that point. And the worship team started playing, and around me, people were entering in. And I stood there with my hands at my side, and I felt nothing. Not sadness, not anger, not resistance, nothing. Flat. Like I was watching a movie about worship instead of participating in it. And I remember looking at the ceiling and thinking, God, where did you go? Because I could not feel him anywhere, not in the music, not in the room, not when I closed my eyes and I tried to focus, not when I mouthed the words to a song I had loved for years. The absence was so complete that it frightened me. I went home, and after I put the kids down for their nap, I opened my Bible to Psalms 42. And the deer pants for streams, so my soul pants for you, my God. And I thought, yes, that is it exactly. I'm panting. I want this. I'm not the woman who walked away. I'm the woman on her knees asking where you went and hearing silence. And then the guilt arrived, because a good Christian woman does not lose access to God. A woman of faith does not stand in church feeling nothing. And I must have let something in. I must have let something slip. Something was wrong with me spiritually, and I needed to figure out what it was and fix it. So I did more. I tried doing a semi-fast. I journaled more. I cut out things I thought might be dulling my sensitivity. I repented for things I wasn't even sure I had done wrong, just in case. I added worship music to my morning routines. I prayed out loud instead of silently. I tried everything I knew to do to get back to a God who felt like he had gone quiet. And here is the specific sensory memory I kept coming back to. It was maybe 6 months postpartum, and I was driving to the grocery store, which felt like a vacation, and a worship song I had loved for years came on the radio. The kind of song that used to make me cry in like 5 seconds flat. And I sat in the car at the red light, and I felt nothing, not even a flicker. And I turned it off because the absence of feeling felt worse than the silence. I thought I was losing my faith. I was telling nobody. I was performing spiritual health on the outside while privately wondering if I had somehow become unreachable by God. I had no idea that what I was experiencing had almost nothing to do with my faith and everything to do with what was happening in my body. So here is what I eventually understood, and what I need you to hear, because it will completely reframe the question you have been asking about yourself. Your nervous system runs on physical resources, and I want you to let that land before I keep going. The capacity to feel calm, to feel present, to feel connected, to feel anything beyond survival is not purely a spiritual function. God made it physical. He designed a nervous system that requires specific inputs to do what he designed it to do. And when those inputs are missing, your nervous system shifts into a mode of threat management. It does not look like a breakdown from the outside. It looks like a woman who is getting through her days but cannot access the depth she knows should be there. The peace that passes all understanding. God has always been offering it. The problem is that receiving it requires a nervous system that is not running a physical emergency underneath everything else. Pregnancy takes from you, not metaphorically, literally. Physically, your body, in its extraordinary God designed wisdom, prioritizes your baby completely and builds them from whatever is stored in your reserves. Every cell, every part of their developing nervous system, every layer of who they are physically came from somewhere, and that somewhere was you. The specific things drawn from your body to build your babies do not replenish on their own time. They do not replenish with sleep. They do not replenish with prenatals designed for pregnancy, not postpartum recovery. They do not replenish with better spiritual habits. And because nobody told you they were taken, nobody told you they needed to be specifically and intentionally restored. So you have been standing in church, trying to feel God with a nervous system running on empty. You have been trying to receive peace in a body that does not have the physical foundation to generate stillness. You have been asking your faith to carry what your body was never given back after what your babies took. This is not a faith failure. That is an information failure, and it is not your fault. Isaiah 58:11 says, He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and strengthen your frame. Your frame, not just your spirit, your physical body. The restoration He promises has always had a material dimension. He authored this body. He understands what it requires. And the work of restoring what pregnancy took is not separate from faith. It is an act of stewarding the body He gave you. By the way, if you want the very first step toward understanding what was taken and what your body is actually asking for, comment restore below right now, and I will send you a free 3 p.m. crash code guide straight to your DM, one page, free, real, comment restore. I want to tell you what it felt like the first time worship landed again, because I think you need to hear it described in the body, not just the spirit. It was not dramatic. It was not a mountaintop moment. It was an ordinary Sunday, maybe 8 weeks into doing this work intentionally, and the worship team started playing. And I closed my eyes, and something that had been braced in my chest for 2 years just released, not all at once, quietly, like a fist slowly opening, and I felt the song, actually felt it, not performed it, not endured it, felt it move through me the way it used to. And I stood there and I cried, like the full kind, the desperate cry of the bathroom floor, the full kind that means something came back. That is what I'm talking about, not a spiritual upgrade, not a more disciplined prayer life, a return to the frequency you were always on, your body getting what it needed to stop running the emergency protocol underneath everything and finally receive what was always being offered. I am 6 months pregnant with my third baby as I record this video, and I want you to hear that, what that means in this context, because I went through this pregnancy differently than my first two. Before this one, I understood for the first time what had been compounding across my pregnancies, my previous pregnancies, and I addressed it specifically. And when this pregnancy began, I could feel the difference in the ground underneath me. I was not drawing from empty. I was not already depleted before the first trimester was over. I was building from a restored foundation. My prayer life in this pregnancy is different than it had ever been in any season of motherhood. Not because I am more disciplined, but because my body is no longer consuming everything I have just to get through the day. There is leftover, there is room, there is capacity. Here is what the other side looks like in real life. You wake up and your first thought is not dread. You sit with your Bible and the words get in, actually get in, not bounce off the surface of you. You're in worship and something moves, and you are with your children and you are actually there, not watching yourself be there from somewhere slightly far away. You are with your husband, and the thickness that had been sitting between you and fully being present with him starts to thin. She is not gone. She was never gone. She has been there the entire time, trying to show up in a body that did not have what it needed to fully arrive. And the work of giving your body back what was taken, the specific, intentional, correctly ordered work of restoration, that is available to you right now in whatever season of motherhood currently living. I know what's running in the back of your mind, and I want to address it directly. You might be thinking, well, my baby is not a baby anymore. It's been 2 or 3 years or 5 years since I delivered, and I assumed the window for this was already closed. It's not closed. Your body is not frozen in the state your last postpartum left it in. It is dynamic and it is responding right now to what it receives. I've watched moms who were years removed from their last delivery and begin restoring and feeling the shift they had completely stopped hoping for. The timing of when you start does not determine whether it works. It determines how long you have been waiting. And you might be thinking, well, I have tried supplements. I have tried doing this, that, and the third. I spent real money. I took things consistently and I felt absolutely nothing. And I'm not going to do that again. I hear this more often than anything else. And here's what I want you to know. Taking supplements without understanding what is actually depleted, what your body can absorb, and what the correct order of restoration looks like is not the same thing as targeted, intentional restoration. Most moms who tried and felt nothing were taking the wrong things in the wrong form, in the wrong sequence without understanding why any of it mattered. This was not a supplement failure. This was an information failure. And that is exactly what changes when you have the right system. You might be thinking, I don't have any bandwidth for this. I am trying to just survive the days I already have. And the thought of one more thing seems to not be genuinely possible. The Calm Mom Reset was built for that exact mom. The one for whom starting anything new feels like a joke. It's 4 weeks designed to work inside your actual life, not outside of it. The moms who are most depleted going in are exactly who it was built for. You do not need margin to start. You need this to create margin. Here is what I want you to walk away with knowing after we've talked today in this video. Your faith did not get weak. Your body got empty. The access point to everything you have been reaching for, the presence, the peace, the capacity to feel God in the worship room or on an ordinary Sunday or even at home, has a physical layer. And that layer was drawn from across your pregnancies and never once got restored. This is not your fault. It is an information failure. 3 things before you go. First, comment restore below now, and I will send you the free 3 p.m. crash code guide straight to your DMs. 1 page, completely free, and it is the starting point for understanding what is actually happening in your body and what your first step looks like. So comment restore and I will get it to you immediately. Second, if you are ready to stop naming the problem and actually start the restoration, the Calm Mom Reset Workshop is in the description and it is where you start building the foundation for real. If you are ready for the complete 4-week system, the full physical, hormonal, and nervous system restoration program, the Calm Mom Reset course is also in the description. And third, please send this video to her. You know exactly who I mean. The one who has been sitting in church, feeling nothing and telling nobody. The one who has been blaming her faith for something that has a biological name and a biological solution. She has been carrying this alone for too long. Send it to her so she knows she does not have to anymore. God made your body on purpose. He made it with specific needs and a specific design. And the restoration he built into that design, the physical, the measurable, lived return to yourself is available to you right now. And so I will see you all in the next video.